Vance and Hines just sounds so right. Hey there everybody, welcome to another episode of Bert's Bike, and today my nephew and I are test riding some bikes. Old school Crossbones and this Lowrider ST that's been heavily modified. Alright guys, taking out the Crossbones. Just give it a feel here. Heel toe shifter. Ooh, okay, this is a lot more. Woo! Alright. A little more approachable than the ST actually. Woo! Alright, right off the bat, this is going to get some getting used to, these forward controls. The back brake is awesome on this, quite the opposite of the other one. Oh man, that heel toe shifter. Man, I love this bike. Dude, it's a different experience with this setup. I love this engine. Power-wise, a lot more approachable. Surprisingly pretty smooth. Coming to a stop, that back brake is doing exactly what it's supposed to be. Yep. Oh. Let's see how the power gets up and goes on this thing. Nowhere near that ST, but pretty good. Ample power. If you're a new rider, it'll feel like a lot. If you've been riding for a while, it'll feel about average. But that's not what this bike's about, though. This is more about the feel and the vibe. Woo! I'm loving it. ST baby. The engine gets hot. You can feel it cooking your inner leg here. A lot of times the heat is here, but on this bike it's right here, probably because that breather's up there. Woo! I don't know if it's because of that breather or just radiating off the cover there, but it is hot. Got a funny horn for a Harley. Let's see how this bike handles these railroad tracks with the Springer front end. I can already tell you from owning the Roadster, this is definitely a lot better in the suspension department, in my opinion. Again, see how this handles this? It's bouncy, but not harsh. Surprisingly, this bike is pretty agile for the setup. And man, this engine is just so good. Lacking on power, sure, but got character all the way. What do you think, Dre? Wouldn't be complete unless you brothered out a little bit. Brother. Beautiful. Woo, it is getting hot. Oh. Okay, pulling away. Yeah. So good, so nice. And you'd think that this bike would just be so windy, but it's clean wind hitting you. And you don't really need a fairing unless you're like, you know, doing a lot of highway speeds. Yeah. Going from the ST to this. Whoa. Okay. So if I just kind of let the bars relax, you do get some death wobble. Not cool. Not cool. All right. So that kind of puts it in a no-go zone for me. I'm sure there's a lot of people that sort that out. It's kind of like if you've ever done some research on the Yamaha Bolt, is when you let go of the bars start wobbling. Every bike I've ever owned, the bars have been super solid even when you let go of them. So I'm sure it has a lot to do with the suspension travel and everything on the bike. and the way it's set up, you know, it's probably not set up for my weight. So there's that. But if that were not an issue, this would be a sweet bike to have for anybody, I think. Also a nice, I guess, vintagey kind of bike. I don't know when they stopped making the Crossbones, but it's a cool bike. Again, look at that view. Woo! Man. Yep. Brakes are definitely not as good as on the ST, but, you know, you wouldn't expect them to be on a bike like this. Is this a bike that's going to win any performance awards? No. Wow. Really got to squeeze the brake to get any kind of stopping power. Now, the brakes on my Roadster were actually pretty darn good. Okay, let's open it up a little bit. Topped out. Going uphill here. That's basically full throttle almost. Whew. Yeah. So if you know anything about the Harley Roadster, that's been one of the best experiences I've had on two wheels, and I can't say that enough. But if you like a more sporty bike with kind of the Harley attitude, that's the one to get. It is not a sport bike by any means, but it's just sportier. And the Roadster has really, well, I wouldn't say really good suspension, but has kind of adequate suspension and dual disc front end brakes. So I just remember the stopping not being an issue really on the Roadster. Also, it depends on you know, if the brake fluid was changed and all that kind of stuff, and you know what's going on with the bike mechanically. Obviously, this is an older bike, so I wouldn't expect it to feel crisp and new. However, I do expect even used bikes at a dealership to be kind of in great running condition, you know. And a lot of times what I don't like about dealerships is that they charge you all that freight and setup fee, and then also a refurbishment fee, but they don't really do anything to the bike, so you're kind of still having to do a bunch of stuff when you're done with it, you know. So that's kind of a crock, but woo! What a fun bike. I do have to say, the suspension on here, I guess I got the Springer seat, Springer front end, not sure what's going on in the rear, but suspension feels really kind of nice for a cruiser motorcycle. Really comfortable, actually. And I'm getting some wobble on this front end. I don't know if you can see that. Not a handlebar shake, but absolute wobble. So just want to make sure I'm in control of this bike as we're going here. Talk about vibe and attitude. Yeah, this bike. If you all you care about is vibe and attitude, I mean, this is it right here. Crossbones. Love it. Love the name. Love the styling. It's awesome. Alright, let's do another little test on this uneven spot. Alright, so bumpy but plush. Nice. Obviously the Springer stuff is doing its thing. Yeah, I really dig this bike. And you get a nice little view of yourself here from the headlight. I love this look, it's awesome. And my previous bike was an R18, and the Roctane sort of did a thing where they put the Speedo into the headlight casing, and so everything's right here, so that's cool. I really like that design feature. Alright, slow speed, kind of running in traffic. This bike is a piece of cake. So easy to maneuver, feathering out the clutch. Hey look, check it out, there's an actual fuel gauge on this. Nice. Gotta say, the way this is set up, it is set up for comfort, man. I mean, I love being kind of sprawled out here. This is nice. You know, and if I was using the heel to a shifter, I'd be a little more in, but I'm not using it because I don't want to have to learn something just for a test ride. But yeah, what a great motorcycle, dude. I love this bike. Back in the Harley here. Such an easy bike to ride. I guess for a cruiser. Is it going to be everybody's cup of tea? Nope. But I dig it. Sweet bike. Do a little sound check here. Do a little sound check. Vance and Hines just sounds so right. Awesome. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment below. It's Bert's bike, and I'll catch you on the next one.